a colonic with Jamba Juice is what they're all doing.
So, man, I feel like that's an important rule. Get a colonic with Jamba Juice. Let's go to the third point there. Now, our monitor's down, but I can see from here, Eric, it says Bilbo.
Yeah, it just is, because that is something that, man, if your cult doesn't involve Bilbo, then why bother having a cult at all? I mean, he's the greatest character on the greatest journey, and you've got to incorporate him into sort of your cosmology. Otherwise, there's no hero's journey that matches his. And how about 13sies? You've got a great excuse to eat a lot of good food.
13sies being a reference to one of the meals they ate in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Or The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Both.
Yes, he's in both. And so I
was just sort of proud I remembered that.
That was good too. You can be an honorary member.
Great.
But like, sometimes when people are sort of going on this mystical journey and they're sort of slaving away on my behalf and whatever, and then sometimes if you sort of bring them into the bedchamber and you say, I'm going to reveal to you the highest secret,
right?
And then they say they're looking at you with eyes of adoration, and they say, what is it? And you whisper in their ear and you say, it's Bilbo. Then they look at you, and the look is, first it's confusion,
right,
and then with a twinkle of terror,
right.
But then there's a moment where they're like, this is a lie, but then they're like, I kind of like it. And
right.
When they see the smile in your eyes, then you've got a real connection.
Right. I love that so much. I love your take. I think you have great taste in cult making.
Thanks, man.
And here's what I think is so cool about it. I think it's a really, it's a great specific that I think points out a great universal rule about cults, which is that it should be so the reasoning in the cult should be so erratic and so nonsensical, so that it's sort of a combination of sort of made up terms like poorly formed sentences, and then all of a sudden mentioning pop culture, that it should be frightening that a grown adult seriously believes it.
Yeah, you want the fabric of reality to start to come apart at the seams, because then you kind of shove yourself up in that hole in their understanding, and then that creates a bond.
It should essentially be the kind of nonsense that someone would say on drugs, and then when someone says, "Are you insane?" and you'd say, something like, "I feel sorry for you."
Yeah. And you say it in sort of a tender way.
Yeah, like it's scary how centered that person is.
Yes.
I mean, look, we're gabbing on and on here. A gaping mind hole.
That's right. Dr. Watney, she's sharp.
Shove it right in their mind hole. That's a great. I love bringing in. That's a great sort of phrase from the Nightcrawlers. I love bringing in sort of a made up but still seemingly sexual term. That's a great. You can bring any kind of visual sort of poetic aesthetic into this. Read some shitty poetry. Copy and paste some of that stuff into your into your text, your key text.
Yeah, and in this, we're talking about the nuts and bolts of all this, but remember, folks, this is how you get friends.
Right.
And if somebody out there's got a better idea, I'd love to hear it, because let me tell you, all that Disney Channel stuff, it's not grown up. It's not the way grown-ups relate to one another.
Yeah, you can't just sit. You can't, when you're the new kid in school, the weirdo doesn't sit down across from you, and then you make that friend.
Yeah.
No one sits down.
No, you're sitting. The reality, you're sitting there in a pile of your own piss and shit, just flopping around in it, and everybody's like, we're gonna beat the hell out of that kid.
And even if that's not true,
then
that didn't. I guess what I want to say is that didn't. I never did that. So I never sat in my own shit.
Well, look, folks, we want to move on to the next segment.
So our calls were, if the spirit takes you, you can call in with your questions or your observations about cults. Chris, we should move on to our cult creator while we wait for calls. Now, one of the never he shallow time swept through time. That's right, the hippie Steve. I mean, that's my log line. Now, so you have the leader, right?
Yep.
You have your home base, you have your beliefs and activities.
Yes.
But really, if you're doing this for the right reason, which is to make friends, it's all about the followers.
Right. It's all about them Benjamins, and by that we mean people who are following your acolytes.
Yeah. And they may all be called Benjamin, or you may want to force them to change their name to Benjamin. Mm-hmm. And that's good. That's a great decision. So let's go to so we're going to use this wrestling creator character to create to visualize. And may I say, is that going to stay that dark?
Nope.
Great. Now, let me say this is a great place to start because he's ripped.
Yeah, this is the kind of person you definitely want to follow you because he's, number one, looks great. Number two, he's going to be able to take on anybody who's trying to stop you.
Now, here's what I want to say. Why is it great that it starts and he's ripped? Right?
Well,
it's because you want your followers to be perfect.
Yeah.
I want my friends to be perfect. Because, I waited this long to have fucking friends. They might as well be fucking perfect. Or otherwise, I'll just decay now. I'll just turn into bones.
I would like him to have kind of look like a bear raked him across the stomach with a bloody scar. Yeah,
and even if you cover that with clothes, that's a great secret that he's hiding.
Yeah. So we're going to accept that. Oh, no, we want that. Oh.
Chris, how do we select the scar?
I think it just hit
A. Oh.
Make it, keep it white. Keep it white.
Okay.
Keep it white.
Sure.
He is a white scar.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of fucked up shit. You want things to be, you want them to be perfect, but you want them to be almost supernatural at the same time.
I think that body art like this, you want them to look subhuman so that you can treat them as such.
Right. You want them to be sort of artistically using a craft, right, like painting or tattoos, to have been lowered into a lower sort of class of consideration.
Right. I mean, because if they just look like just the, Joe at the supermarket, well, you're not really doing your job as a cult leader, right?
Yeah, like I want to see this guy and to think to myself, well, somebody ruined that guy.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, there's no way you want your followers being able to apply for jobs. You don't want them to be able to get married. Their whole devotion has to be touching, just to doing stuff you like.
And I mean, and now this isn't my ideal follower, so I'm sort of fascinated at your process. So keep talking to us.
Well, I wanted him to have red, like the scar, but if I can't have that, bright red chest hair is gonna have to do. And in fact, I think that hair on his back too. I mean, I do want him to have that. that tiger tattoo, but you know,
I think it's so great to have a tattoo and for it to be hidden under hair.
yeah, I mean, you want hardy folk to be part of your, part of your crew, and you do want it.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's kind of I'm blown away by the customizability here.
Yeah,
it's like I keep being like, now we're gonna put a shirt on. We're miles away from it, and that's exciting. I mean, this is an ideal situation. Is that if you could take every single follower who's in your cult and say, first give me your palm.
yeah,
Now give me the other side of your hand. Now give me your forearm. Now flip your forearm over. And if you could go through the whole body like that.
yeah. You want this kind of control over your followers. You want every detail to be identical to what you imagine it being.
I'm so excited to see what this end product is going to be, because that everything you do is exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, for all of my followers, I want to take them to this place that I'm going right now, and I just can't. They have limitations that I don't like.
Well, the hippie Steve makes a great point. If we're dehumanizing them, right? Should they be clothed? He makes a good point.
Yeah, you want some sort, because if they don't have clothes, they're going to look too different. So you need some kind of clothes that's uniform. And
right, you throw a suit on this guy, he's going to look like $1 million. Is he going to stand out in a crowd? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but
right. You want to be able to start something that if he goes to prison, people are going to know that he is one of yours, one of your folk. So that's kind of what we're going for here. And
if your follower looks like a villain from Dragon Ball Z, that's right on the money.
Right. Yeah, and he can, or Dragon Ball Z is a good touch point. Also, like, what was that band that was? It wasn't Limp Bizkit, but it was Static X.
Right.
Do you remember them?
I do remember Static X. They had that song "Push It."
Oh, but was that Salt and Pepper reference?
No. I remember seeing Static X, their music video, "Push It." So I'm blown away. It's mind-bending the amount of things you can change about this human.
Yeah, and
this is such an ideal situation. You'd never get this kind of customizability in real life. You know what I mean?
And that's part of why we work so hard, because, gosh, I want people to look exactly like this.
Dr. Watney asks, is this an Earth cult like for humans?
I personally don't know the difference. What's the alternative, Dr. Watney? Aliens?
Well, I think we were saying that a follower should look like a villain from Dragon Ball Z. Most of those villains were, if we're not talking about Dragon Ball, we're talking about Dragon Ball Z. Most of those were not human.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, like the green guy and
Cell.
Oh, that was his name?
Piccolo. You're talking about. So here we are with this man. He is.
I think that.
Can we change his body type? Can we sort of skip ahead? Let's skip ahead, Eric. I'm so interested.
Is that accept? Oh, great. A whole nother
appearance, right, Chris?
Oh, is it?
Clothing if you want clothes.
We want clothes.
Or back up. So go accept.
Wait, I'm blown away. Wait, what's happening? What's happening?
Accept.
Accept?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk a little bit here while you're figuring this out, Eric. Night crawlers. If you have any thoughts on what you want your cult to be, call in. Write in the chat. Here's what I'll say. My ideal follower would look nothing like this. That's not to say there's anything wrong with this. But I will say that I think my ideal cult member honestly would be
tell me what would be different.
Yeah, and it's not that I'm not digging this. I'm super digging it. But I think of us as two different bands, Eric, Like let's say I'm Cream, right? Eric with Eric Clapton.
Okay.
And you're I wanted to say Cream again, but
that doesn't make sense. I was going there too.
Yeah, let's say you're Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say Cream is in the audience watching Jefferson Starship play. They're like, this is awesome. But they're not going to say, hey, we need to change our music to sound like Jefferson Starship, because we're Cream.
Right. That's not going to happen.
So I'm watching this, and I'm digging this. I'm saying, this is awesome. But I'm not going to change my music to fit with your style. So here's my style. My cult member should look like he works, literally, look like an employee from Best Buy.
Yeah.
I used to work at Best Buy.
It's not a good place to work, just in case anybody's wanting to work there.
Wait, we're getting some comments here, but I do need to finish my thought. We're getting some really interesting comments here. The reason you need to look like you work in a Best Buy is because it's a level of, you're not threatened by a guy who works at Best Buy. You're not like, oh, that guy makes 6 figures. I better watch what I say in front of that guy. And the other thing is, it's a corporation, right? You look like you work for a corporation. There's no way you could be trying to bamboozle someone into joining a cult in which you give up all your possessions, right?
Right.
Use the uniforms of society against it. That's my MO. You dig what I'm saying? Like, dude, if someone looked like they were dressed, or it doesn't even have to be Best Buy. If somebody came up to you wearing a McDonald's uniform, and they said something super crazy to you,
then you were saying they're not like, oh, can I help you?
Yeah. No, they say something super crazy. You'd be like, oh, well, I guess this must be something that McDonald's think is okay. This looks great, though.
You think that, this didn't have, it had so many features. I feel like I didn't have time to really tweak some of the things. But generally speaking, I feel like if I want my followers to have jean shorts, fringe shoes, hair on their chest with body art underneath, mustache, hair, beard, all different colors. This has got most of what I have been encouraging them to do as I've been tightening my control over my cult followers.
It's a kind of here's, I'm going to say in short what I like about this before we go to some comments from the night crawlers.
Sure.
This person has spent so much time becoming not just physically fit, but they look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
They have spent most of their life crafting their physique, and you know how hard they've worked to look like that.
Yep.
And to simply, honestly, to just ruin it with a series of aesthetically displeasing choices that amount to basically visual noise.
Yeah.
is such a sign of power you
Yes.
have over this person.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like this is a visual representation of the nonsense that they're buying into.
Well, and if you pair that with that nonsensical set of beliefs that you mentioned when you were listing your must-haves, then it makes it extra sad. Not sad in a way that it's like sad where there's a pathos between the cult leader and the follower. But if, it's such a shame that a body like this would just basically be turned into sort of a living joke. But that makes it so special.
Right. It's like the sort of the kind of extremeness required to make such a poor decision embodies the power that you have.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I will not look like this. I will look like myself.
Not in a million years. Here's what I'd do. I'd go down to Men's Warehouse.
Yeah.
I'd pick out a beautiful 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
With some of the money that I've gotten from my followers.
Yeah.
I'd get it tailored. Maybe a nice pair of Kenneth Cole shoes. I'd throw that on. That would probably be the 10th suit I've bought like that. And then I'd just go to bed in it.
Oh, a Kenneth Cole reaction. Those are good shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to? What do we want to do? Do you want to do a guy?
Well, let's go to some Nightcrawler comments.
Okay, great.
We have some. The Hippie Steve says, I post speaking sermons, if you will, to a YouTube channel. I can't drive the views, though. I just get comments where people say I'm an autist, but I can't draw or paint at all, so I don't know what they're talking about. Any tips? It's a great sort of, what I like about this question is it's hard to understand, and it's sort of on target, right? It's like, actually, here's what this question makes me think. A great way to sort of strike up a conversation to make someone join a cult is to ask a question like this that is essentially fucking with the person, but ask it very sincerely, right? It's like, how do I fix my YouTube channel? People keep calling me an autist.
Right. There's something about that just seems like. What are we talking about?
Yeah, and that's when you say, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Sort of flip the script on them. If you're trying to fix your YouTube channel, sincere advice, steal some music videos. Go on Vivo, download whatever. Download Nicki Minaj's new song.
Or
re-upload it. You're gonna get 10 to 20,000 views.
Or Kate Bush.
Kate Bush. Hey, you're gonna get throw Kate Bush up. You're gonna get at least 5,000 or 6,000 views. Just steal a bunch of shit, re-upload it. You got yourself a channel. Dr. Watney's trying to scam us out of money. I think that's a great way. That's a great cult, right? It's sort of a streamlined capitalist cult.
Yeah, the cult of the dollar bill. I've got an idea. We have not had people calling in over the past couple weeks, and I'm not surprised. If you step into the ring with a couple of alpha dogs, you might get bit.
And we are rabid tonight. We are out of our minds.
And so I'm thinking we call outward.
Yeah. I want to answer while you're picking a call.
Great.
I want to answer this last question from Weenus Grabber 134.
What does he say?
He says, I think he's asking about your follower that you made. Mm-hmm. What would the cult's god look like? What is he the god of?
Well, he would look like me, but he would not be white. He would be sort of a cream color, and his head would be 6 times the size of my head.
So not white, but also not any color of a human.
Right. Should we be able to hear this? Oh,
Yeah.
Hello, Broadway Books.
hi. Do you have any books about cults?
Pardon me?
Do you have any books about cults?
No, we do not.
Well, you don't have any books about any sort of parapsychology or paranormal?
Nope.
And what books do you have?
You know, we got a whole store full of books, and we're actually closed right now, so I can't read you the name of every book in the store.
You know, you've got a real attitude, lady. How come you're not nicer? Well, I guess that didn't go the way I had imagined.
Here's the way I sort of perceived that phone call. Just this is backseat driving, so feel free to disagree. I'm not trying to rain on your parade. And again, hey,
Yeah.
feel free to swat this interpretation away.
Okay.
It's an unusual phone call to make. Your first question
Yeah.
was totally reasonable. Do you have any books about cults? Great question.
Okay.
She said no. You asked a follow-up question, right? You don't have any books, like sort of in disbelief. Your third question is where you started to sort of depart into a place where most people don't speak that way.
Like,
in
what
which
do you mean?
you said, well, what kind of books do you have?
Right.
It's not a...
Well, in my defense...
them's fight. What I'd say is them's fighting words.
Well, no, look, now that I'm starting to calm back down, I hear you. However, you've lived in New York City for a good long while.
12 years.
Have you ever been in a bookstore that doesn't have a book about cults?
I do have to say that answer is I almost wanted to say what kind of bookstore? What bookstore did we call that they wouldn't have any books on cults?
Well, it was in Portland, Oregon.
Right.
And I'm not sure what their specialty was.
She seemed pissed immediately, by the way. Just to be fair. No, and she may have had. I mean, what is it? What is it in Portland? Almost 9:30.
Right. No.
8:30.
Portland, Oregon, or Maine?
It was in Portland, Maine.
Oh no, it's Portland, Oregon.
Right. So there's a different time there. Look, we're getting lost in the weeds here. The point is that was completely a fine. I see we're calling Domino's Pizza. Hippie Steve says, call back and apologize.
I mean, okay.
You're better than that.
You guys are the viewers. If that's what you want to see, do you guys want to see me call back and apologize or no?
I think that's a fine idea.
If we get more than 3 yays, then I'll do it. I don't want to do it. I want to call back and say, "Hey, lady."
Don't say lady.
Hey, dude. Okay. Yes, we've got 3 yeses, so I guess I got to call back.
Okay.
All right. Well, look. Feel free to. Do you want to? You can set it up so that it's a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of ease me into the conversation. I don't think she's going to pick up. She's not going to pick up, guys. I mean, look, we tried.
It's tough, man. You're going to have to, I think you're going to have to say, you're going to have to put that on the... This is why you start a cult. Is exactly so that you can say, I mean, if someone in my cult spoke to me that way,
No.
I would use my imagination to turn them into a rock.
Yeah. Hey, nobody in my cult would ever even think of speaking that way to me.
I would use my powers to send them back in time before there was a planet to live on. And that would be the end. What are we calling?
Domino's.
Domino's Pizza, how can I help you?
Look, I've got a hungry cult, and they're going to need to eat a lot of pizza. And I was wondering how much. Do you guys have any kind of specials for just large groups of people that are wearing robes?
Yeah, we have a large pizza. 3 toppings is $12.99.
Okay, thank you. I'm gathering information because I think we're going to call back once we're all meeting.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
That was a perfect phone call.
You think so?
That was the perfect. I think that was you. You got in. You asked a question. It was pointed. You had a great setup, and you got right out. You got your info. You got right out.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it was awesome.
Oh, well, I appreciate that because I don't always know what's a good phone call and what's not a good phone call. Your mind wants to say they're all good, but they're not always all good.
Well, leave them wanting more. Right? Don't pull a Family Guy where they keep doing the same thing again and again. Get quick out. It's 2018.
Right.
Get out of there.
Especially if you're gathering information.
Yes. If this was 1750, right? And
there were no Europeans here at that time.
1750.
Oh. Well, right.
1750 AD.
Before, I was under the impression that once they signed the Declaration of Independence, that's when everybody came on over. But I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something different.
It would have been better that way. It would have been like, let's start America now. But what I was going to say is it's 1750, right? You're going to gather some information. You're on a horse. How do you do that? Start riding the horse fast.
Yeah.
Get it running fast. Run by. And then just keep going.
Yeah, just don't even get off it.
Yeah, kind of rubberneck. Get the info. Keep going. And that's what you did just now. Let's get back on is the WNBA a cult from Dr. Watney? I think that's an interesting question. Now, the question are the fans of WNBA the cult members or the people on the teams? And in that case, there would be a number of cults within it. What do you think?
I've never seen a WNBA game on any channel anywhere. So they're doing a good job of keeping it hidden. And for that reason, I think that it is in the realm of what we'd like to build towards.
It's like a proto-cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll get there.
Here's my read on that. And I think that I am agreeing in a slightly different way. It is right at the precipice. It could easily turn that way.
Yep. Just needs a little extra push.
Yeah, and I think when that turn happens, you're going to lose a bunch of members who said, whoa, this isn't what I signed up for. But there's going to be a lot of people who are saying, yes, this is what I signed up for.
If the commissioner wore a big hat, you'd be all in. And let me tell you, it's an all-women thing, so just imagine.
Yeah. What is this?
This is just
Hello and welcome to TalkToMe.com, where you can talk live, one-on-one with a talker of your choice, or let us pick someone for you, or try our chat line and talk to hot, horny ladies, housewives, and college students who want to share their secrets and fantasies with you. This service is for adults only. If you're under 18, hang up now. Press 1 to talk with a specific talker number from TalkToMe.com. Press 2 to browse all available talkers on TalkToMe.com right now.
So press go 2 because I don't know.
Welcome to Browsing Talkers. You will not be charged for listening to the greetings.
Cool.
You will only be charged when you connect with the talker. Press 3 to skip to the next talker. To see and hear more talkers, go to TalkToMe.com. Enjoy.
I don't know. I've never been.
If you would like to enter your account number, press 1. If you would like to enter your debit or credit card number, press 2. If you would like to start browsing greetings and enter this information later, press 3. Press 9 to repeat these options.
Do you have your wallet?
You can,
How are you?
hello?
Call me. She's there for you. Bye.
Is that a baby?
Greeting from 215294. To connect to this talker for
I'm actually not
$2.99 per minute, press 1. To hear this greeting again,
$2.99
press 2.
per minute.
To hear the next talker, press 3.
I mean, we
To
don't
hear the
know.
previous
We don't
talker,
know
press 4.
what these
Press
people
9
think
to
about
repeat these
cults.
options.
So it could be good, just information gathering.
I mean, it is so hard to get on the other side.
Dirty, nasty, precious slut. Looking to serve. Strong, dominant man. I have no limits.
I'm pretty sure when these messages.
Everything to please you.
Greeting from 228578. To connect to this talker for $2.99.
Doesn't it sound like when they're recording
per
the
minute,
messages,
press
they're
1.
holding the
To
phone
hear
like this?
greeting again, press
Like,
2.
hey, I need
Press
a
3.
big
To hear the previous
man.
talker, press 4.
It does sound
Press
strange,
9.
doesn't it?
It literally sounds to me like the receivers on their forehead.
Well, she did say she had no limits, so maybe talking into a phone is one of the limits she's willing to break.
This is Goddess friend. Come and worship the Goddess. You will not be disappointed.
Greeting from 294.
Now, that was a cult.
That
was
is a
good-
perfect segue into.
Talker 4.
I think we got what we needed there, because if we need a goddess to be sort of at the top of our pyramid, our sort of ontological pyramid, we can go. We know where to go.
If we had mad money, I would throw my credit card number right in there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even worry about whether someone's going to steal it, because I'll just dispute it.
Yeah.
They'll give it right back. These banks are huge. You just dispute it.
They don't care.
They don't care. I'd put my credit card in. I'd dial in. I'd talk it up, and I'd go wherever with it.
And we mentioned at the top of the show that the reason we are creating cults and why we're admonishing you to go out and do the same is so that you could form relationships, you could have friends. But this seems like another perfectly valid way to have a friend. I mean,
Absolutely.
Those people were willing to talk to us. All we had to do is enter our credit card information. But we don't have credit cards.
If you have, I think it goes without saying that if you have money,
Yeah.
you're out. This is not the episode for you.
No.
Because that changes the entire. I mean, you could buy an army of people, and
Mercenaries.
you could buy an army of mercenaries.
Yeah.
And you could say, hey, mercenaries, sew a little uniform for your gun. Dress it up and kind of act like it's your friend, and act like it's like your kind of your partner.
You could be like that guy on YouTube, when you're waiting for your video to load, and he's like, hey, I'm a regular guy. I've just got my Lamborghini in the background. Click on my link and let me tell you, because I read so many books in a day, and I mean, that would be great.
The money cult is a specific kind of cult. I think that
it's the oldest one almost.
And it's not really been the subject of our discussion tonight. And I hope that's not a disappointment, but it's just not. It's not where we're at. It's not where we're at. Now, what cults have the best friends? From Ed Toast. I mean, you gotta go. I know it's a cop out, but Scientology.
Seem like they've got it figured out.
Will Smith's whole fucking family.
Yeah.
The Willow Smith.
Yeah.
I whip my hair back and forth Smith.
Willow.
That's right. Fucking Willow. Actual Willow. What's his name?
Not even the guy who plays him.
Right, the real Willow. And the guy who played Willow, he played like the goblin that was the main banker from Harry Potter. That goblin, the actual goblin, is a Scientologist.
Right. I mean, though they're
real Voldemort.
They're all in that fleet of ships, the Sea Org. Man, I'd give anything to be sipping a Mai Tai on the deck of that thing.
I would ship myself to China in carbonite.
Yeah.
Where the ants, I'm carbonite, but there's fire ants in there, and they're not carbonite, and they're just going nuts on me. I would go through that to hang out with the Smiths, the Will Smiths.
I like that punishment, by the way.
Let's go. Could we? Yeah, it is a good punishment, isn't it? Could we look at the grid, the original grid there? I just want to sort of check in. Man, there's so much to cover here.
Well, and we do have the last segment that is the either or. So should we go there? And
we're low on time.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just do a couple of the either or, Chris? Yeah.
So the way that this works is Alex and I, there are some big decisions you have to make when you're forming your cults, and there's a couple of different ways you can play it. So we're talking about some of the big decisions here. This is the first one. Are you going to go with chanting or singing in your cult? Which one do you like, Alex?
You know, this is actually a really hard decision because I can see singing because that's more friendly, right?
Yeah.
Chanting is more scary.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with chanting, though.
Yeah.
Because I would only go with singing to trick people to get to chanting. Does that make sense?
No, that does make sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with singing because with singing, you can create verses that sound a little bit more cheery so that when the townsfolk show up outside of your compound with pitchforks and torches and they want to set fire to the place, everybody can just hold hands and be like, la, 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 and it sounds nice. And then the moment they leave, then you just kind of flip the record over and everybody's like, la, 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 doom and gloom
There's
and all
more
that.
versatility with singing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decision to make, but you really only want to pick one because it's I mean, there's a lot of things to do in a cult, and you don't want to disorient people. Otherwise, people are going to kind of show up and they're going to say, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah. What's the next? Okay, so are you going to go with harem or are you going to go with celibacy?
This is tough for me because will I get down with some sucking? Yeah, I'll get down with some sucking. But at the same time, sucking leads to fucking. And that's a non-starter for me. So I'm going to go with celibacy.
Well, I think that's smart because you do want to be immune from prosecution. And if you can prove that you are celibate, then you can sort of abstain from any sort of incarceration later on. Also, you don't have to worry about children being born into the cult.
Right. And that leads to some real sticky situations.
Yeah. Literally
sticky because children are always sticky,
and
there's just an endless supply of maple syrup that they roll in.
And when they come out of the womb, they've got a goo all over them. However, I would go with the harem. I mean, I just can't imagine anything better than just a bunch of bodies just stacked on top of each other, and me as the cream and the Twinkie, so to speak. And so I would it would feel good, it would smell good, and it would be something I would love to experience.
It would be great, and it would be great if we had these two different cults sort of going together, right? If I had my ideal cult and you had your ideal cult, because I would remain celibate, but I'd love to come over sometime and just sort of spray you all with a hose.
Yeah, I'd say come on over and bring whatever kind of suit you need to be able to cleanse yourself.
Just grab a fire hose, just spray you guys down while you sort of go about.
Writhe around. Yeah. Well, we can work it out.
Well, this will be the last one.
Death pact or murder pact? I mean, unfortunately, no cult can kind of do without either or.
Yeah. So, Chris, just to clarify this question, death pact is like suicide, right? Murder. Because, I mean, so that's more of the Charles Manson type cult. Mm-hmm. And I'm just a little bit more rock and roll, I think. Suicide pact is more smooth jazz to me.
Well, what is cool about that, like, you were kind of alluding or comparing to bands earlier, and that is very rock and roll. It's kind of like the Sex Pistols, right? It's like you're going out, you're kind of, but that's kind of a thing where when you murder people, then people get arrested, and one by one, the cult members kind of get picked off by the authorities. Death Pact is a situation where it's a lot more tidy. You're all just kind of laid out in a field or something together after drinking some Kool-Aid or sniffing some cyanide or whatever. And it's kind of a lot more like you get to see all the Lincoln logs kind of laid out there together.
Yeah.
I think that would be my choice. Okay, we'll do one more here.
It's all right, Chris. This is the. I'm glad you did one more because this is key. This will be the last one, but I'm glad we did one more. Membership cards, secret passwords. Wow,
It's big.
Because I mean, for me, what this is Pat. Are you going to be nostalgic, right? Are you going to, or even say, are you going to stay safe off the grid? Or are you going to bring yourself into the 21st century where it's easy to laminate
Everything.
everything? You can laminate whatever you want. And it's one of the great luxury, beautiful, beautiful advantages of our time to just laminate whatever you need.
Well, here's the way I think about it. I would love 20 years from now for them to make a movie about the cult that I did. And one of the coolest scenes from that movie would be if there was a senator in my cult. Let's just imagine that there is, because there will be soon. We are targeting one in particular. And because it is a sex cult, we'll probably land him. But nevertheless, I want him to be shaking hands with some important person in Capitol Hill and just look at that person in the eyes and be like, "No katu." And that's the word. And that would be such a cool scene. So I think password for me.
I think that's a really great. Membership cards, while efficient, are lame. They're so lame. I think the only time membership cards are cool is after you're dead. And if like a secret agent goes through your wallet and they find it as a clue.
Yes.
But if you're alive, it's lame.
It's like, well,
yeah, it's like here's my Kohl's card.
Yeah.
Here's up. That's my driver's license. Up, here we go.
yeah, it's like
It's so fucking earthly.
it's like why not a keychain fob?
Yeah.
Below me. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you said below me.
Guys, this has been a journey into, and just to finish up with some stuff from the Nightcrawlers, Matt in Los Angeles says, fuck cards, yeah, fuck libraries. Yeah, you guys are on the right track. Hippie Steve says, yep, I'm game. So Death Pact plus membership cards is dope. No, Hippie Steve, you were not listening. We did not say membership cards were dope. We said they were lame.
But still, I mean, that's actually, but just continuing to be inspired by everything. Doublespeak, great idea for a cult, right?
Yeah.
Like, say yes to me.
Yes.
I'm glad you said no.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah. You confused me there.
Great stuff. It's great stuff. Yeah, if it said, say, I don't want to stay here.
I don't want to stay here.
I'm glad you understand why you need to stay. You know what I'm saying?
Now I don't know where I am.
Yeah, it's a great tactic. So, Steve, well played.
Yeah.
Usually we do the dark truth. Should we do the dark truth?
Can we do one each quick?
Let's do one each quick.
I just went to the store before we did the show, and I got a pack of cigarettes because I'm going to distribute them to my nuclear family, and then I'm going to take them to my boss and a boss for a future job that hasn't been invented yet. And I'm going to give them to my boss, and he's going to say, "Ching chai," and I'm going to know what that means because it's a made-up word. and I decided I like it, and I know it, and I believe in it.
We talked about a lot tonight. We talked about the 4 staples, the 4 elements of a cult. But what we didn't tell you is the 5th element. It's the movie. And that sounds like a stupid jackass nonsense thing to say, but it is the 5th thing you need in a cult is the movie, the 5th element. Because it's that guy's best movie. I can't remember that guy's name, but if you look at his other movies, you'll see that the 5th element is his best movie. It's just kind of a good movie, I think. I think Bruce Willis looks cool with blonde hair. I think that girl, she's pretty. It's super sexist the way they make her run around in basically a bunch of white Band-Aids glued together. But I thought the art design was good. And you need it in your cult, otherwise it'll fucking fall apart. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, folks. We'll see you next week.